I'm very happy to have on stage Khushbu Parakh. She's a Django coach in Pakistan, UK, and quick learner and smart developer. A big round of applause for her.
Good evening. I'm mentoring Google of Summer of Code 2017 OS projects. I'm founder of Solidarity of Sisters, as well as I'm working on load balancers and mostly cloud computing. This is the side project I was doing. So thanks very much for me being here. This is my first DjangoCon, and this is my first time speaking as a speaker. So this talk is about how you can build design principles to protect millions of users. So yeah, what's my motivation to do the project Solidarity of Sisters? I'm a woman, and I'm more attentive of the things happening to the women. All I want to do is to enrich the society through ideas and action. Because people remember you for is the positive change you bring into the society and in their lives. Okay, let's get started. So what's the problem? Between 15 to 76% of women are targeted for violence in their lifetime, according to the country data. In India, there are 9,000 cases of death were reported in an year, and the young girls were like falsely labeled as suicide and accidents. And an estimate of 150 million girls under the age of 18 suffered from the violence in a single year alone. So why I'm doing this? This is like an immediate question that comes to my mind and an answer to that immediate questions. What makes me want, why I'm doing this and what makes you wanted to listening to me? Because I think we are on the verge of enormous opportunities. We have technology that is sophisticated enough to implement in the real world, which can be useful for others, and it's simply elegant and nice. So I'll talk about what exactly is Solidarity of Sisters. Solidarity of Sisters is like a GitHub repository, where in GitHub we store our data, but in SOS we store the data and the records of the victims who have suffered violence. They can report to the agency, they can save their data as long as they want, and they can report when they found the match. It's a designed interview process to connect to the university when they found something, some violence in the workplace or at the schools. It's specifically an information escrow. Now, what does the escrow means? The escrow reduces the risk of fraud by acting as a third party that collects and holds the distributed funds when both buyers and sellers are satisfied. So I've created a web application that provides chance to the women to share their story. There are a lot of applications that exist that do the same, that help women fighting against the violence. So what's so special about this application? So the special things about the application is it helps the users real time. Suppose they have something they have faced and they want information. There is no such projects that help you with the real-time things and that help you, that can guide you with the legal stuff. But I developed a feature which provides supports of the both lawyers, doctors, NGOs. Whenever you want to ask any question, you can consult them. So these are like the three features of the application: Your Help, Report Once, and I Experienced. Your Help is something when you want the help from the existing members over there And the report ones is when you have faced something in the past, you can report and encourage the other people who have experienced and motivate them to do something or how they have overcome in their life. And I experience is like if you're currently experiencing something and you want to share it with the correct user you think are facing, so you can help like many people in the world like that. So this is like a chat screenshot where you can connect to the doctor, and similarly there are other chat rooms for the lawyers and the NGOs. Django fits. So why I started with Django? Because I want to start with something solid. The language choice and the framework is the great thing. Django has very well security practices. It is heavily duted and the basics are under control. It's written in Django and it provides more empowering, transparent, and confidential reporting experience for the survivors. It's absolutely essential that we keep our users' data secure. But as small non-profit organization, I could barely find time to work on it and solely work on the security aspects. But I would really like to share some of the security aspects I was using in this application, and that I think is like really helpful to secure the sites. Though Django is really secure, and I saw a tweet yesterday that a security release have been done before the party 1.10. So you can learn how to build the secure sites. I'll cover the essential concepts behind securing the user data and offer examples of how we can apply them to the other applications. I'll explore some of the Python security tools, libraries, and frameworks, and let you stand on the shoulder of the security giants. So I'll cover some of the implementation part. In the implementation, a user or a victim can write an email or contact, and we'll try to set up the connection between the two other users whom they want to connect. And the survivor can go to the site, they can save their data. It's like timestamp securely saved. As well as I'm using the features: FireChat, Postgres, ZX CVBN that I'll explain later, and FOX, Federated Knowledge Extraction Framework, that I'll describe. So what is FOX? Federated Knowledge Extraction Framework is for the RDF extraction from text based on assembling learning. It makes use of the diversity NLP algorithm to extract entities with the high precision and high recall. It provides functionality for keyword extraction and relation extraction. This enables the entities against every linked data knowledge base. The ongoing transition from the current web or the unstructured data to the extraction of structured data is in the RDF, Resource Description Framework. One of the key steps towards the extraction RDF from the natural language corpora is the disambiguation of the named identities, because you often have the same named identities. And so I'm using the HITS algorithm, that is a link analysis algorithm, with the label expansion, strategies, and string similarity measures. Based on these combinations, it can efficiently detect the correct URIs for a given set of named entities within an input text. You don't generally need to think about when a breach is going to happen. You need to think, what will you do when it's going to happen? Here, Eric has already mentioned in his talk about the Ashley Madison data breach. The hacker published 37 million so far personal records of ashleymadison.com users. So there are often chances of organizational doxing. Now, what does that mean? Stealing data from an organization network and indiscriminatory dumping. Because here it's like the crime data. When something gonna happen, sheriff will come knocking at your door. So it's really, I need to really make sure to secure their data to the best. Organization doxing is like an increasingly popular attack against the organizations because our data is connected to the internet and stored in corporate networks. We can call like potential blast radius of these attacks. While the risk of this particular bit of data get published in low, we have to start thinking about what could happen if the larger scale breach affect people we care about. It is going to be a lot uglier before security improves. Privacy isn't something about hiding something. It's more about able to control how we present ourselves to the world. It's about maintaining a public face while at the same time being permitted private thoughts and action. It's about personal dignity. We know about the recent WikiLeaks dark matter on the March 23rd. It's clear that flaws in technology will always exist. WikiLeaks have published what it claims is the largest ever release of the confidential documents of the CIA. It has more than 8,000 documents as a part of Vault 7, a series of leaks of the agency which have allegedly emerged with the CIA. Security data is something not within our reach. Raise your hand if you bank online. I do. Raise your hand if your doctor uses network-connected device. Ethical thing you do with people data. So yes, this is one of the library I mentioned, ZXCVBN. I'm using and I created an example with Django 123 password to show the data, the results of how this library works. So what is the procedure of the SOS? And why it's not commonly discussed. We should know our threats. I love the sound of threat. I'm very light. So security requires empathy. Caring about them is like the biggest thing in the world. So in order to proceed for a victim, he needs to submit the story and then consult on the Firebase if he wants to. That's like an optional thing. And get the legal advice and take the action and empower yourself in the society. Because I've often faced like people who have faced something, destroy their life and do nothing. They need some encouragement and some process to do something in their life. So yeah, I would like to discuss one more point about the implementation. I'm using cloud hosting platform as a services and the content distribution network. A content delivery network, CDN, is like a third party that stores and serves the static files. I'm using the Amazon CloudFront. I'm using the Amazon and to store the files. And the purpose of it is to remove the load of static file requests from the web servers as they are handling the dynamic web content. There is also a super stupid idiot guide started with Django pipeline, and S3 shows how to host the static content on S3 and use those files with Django. Along with the ZXCVBN, I'm using rate limiting as well as Django Postgres PGP fields. Because its adoption allows everyone to use and access all the security for the data. So what do I expect? I expect to help millions of people in the world and to empower them to fight against the violence. And it's like an experiment for me, because I really want to see the breach of the data, and I want to experiment with the open source projects and the Django, because it always bubbles up in my mind. It's private, but I'll open source in the coming weekend. And it got registered on as an NGO yesterday on official papers. In the future, I would really need some help to work more on this application from everybody. I would love to share the link of the slides as well as the GitHub repo link after making it public. Thank you. Yes, sure.
So if you have some question for Khushbu, please line up. Otherwise, I ask Daniele to come to the stage.
Hi, thanks for the talk. You're dealing with information that is obviously sensitive. Are you doing any form of encryption or anonymization of the data that you are holding, or?
Yes, I'm encrypting the data, and then I download the data, I decrypt it, and then I make it in the user-readable form to make it more secure and not to be accessible anyone within the database.
Right, okay, so the database, sorry, I'm just trying to work out exactly where this workflow is happening. So you've got a website that is gathering the information.
Yes.
But then you're storing it on your own local machines in the unencrypted form so it can be dealt with. Is that correct? Okay.
Yes.
All right. And in terms of the deployment, you're deploying to CDNs and cloud hosting and whatnot. Have you done any analysis of the security vulnerabilities that exist there in terms of leakage of information, or is it just kind of, we're going to assume it's their quality of service that it's not going to break at that level?
I'm using like cloud platform from along, and I think it's like quite secure and more reliable. And if a security breach going to happen, it can happen anywhere.
Sure.
So,
okay.
yeah.
I suppose it's just an employee at that cloud hosting provider, for example, might have access to the information unless you're taking steps, which I didn't know if you had covered.
Yes. So yeah, for that I'm using the VPN access, and all instances are on my private IPs.
Right.
That can help any access from the public IP reach.
Okay.
So that is helping me.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.